So we made it to the end of UF 100, and this is the final podcast. So I'm just going to get into some challenging aspects and some rewarding aspects of what I experienced over the last 5 weeks. So starting with challenging aspects over the last 5 weeks, oral communication. Number 1. The most challenging aspect was to get over the fear of asking questions. I did not want to ask a stupid question, but I overcame this fear by realizing I'm young and I got a lot to learn. And I haven't been in school for as long as some of the college students, and I have to ask questions to get to be where they are. I also told myself, there's a good chance that I'm not going to see these people again, so if I did embarrass myself, that's an added bonus. Second, with group work. The hardest part of group work was not to be controlling or demanding, but try to use motivation and incentives instead to get the team or certain team member to accomplish a goal. To combat this challenge, our team did a lot of team building. Through the time that we spent together, I got to know them as people and what their strengths and weaknesses are and how I could pair them with mine. The Lego challenge at the beginning of the semester was a great way to see what type of roles that our team would fall into. Me and Trey kind of started taking a leadership role when I thought I didn't want to be necessarily a leader. And I think the more we got to know each other, the better the team and the teamwork got. And so that's kind of how I overcame that challenge, or I guess we did. It was a team effort. The third one on critical thinking and discussion. The most challenging aspect of critical thinking and discussion was trying to comprehend thing theory, because I feel everyone has a different perspective on the definition, as well as the different philosophers I've not read or researched yet. I could notice the gap in my education versus some of the older students. To help me overcome this challenge, I did research outside of class. So I did a lot of summary readings on some philosophers' other theories and more depth readings of thing theory and how to apply them to the real world, because when we were having these in-class discussions, I wanted to be able to contribute and to ask questions and share my ideas, and I couldn't necessarily do that if I didn't understand the concept itself, so I needed to do some of my own research. So moving on to the positives, the rewarding aspects of class, starting with the oral communication. The most rewarding aspect of oral communication was being able to lead a discussion for over an hour. So I can talk about things and my passions with my friends, but when I got in front of a class of people that I didn't necessarily know that well, it was hard to talk and ask questions, especially if it was on a topic that I didn't know that much about. But I think preparing the PowerPoints before and my team met before, we got everything prepared. I knew what I was going to say. And then when the discussion started changing or they started asking questions or responding, that's kind of where I had to think on my toes and kind of just go with whatever thought or response that I could think of. So I think that was really hard because I'm not used to teaching class. I'm used to sitting through lectures. Next, group work. The most rewarding aspect of group work was that this is the first time I had a group that worked like a team. Everyone pitched in and took responsibility for the work. The entire team held themselves and each other accountable. So in high school, I'm used to doing most of the work myself because I'm scared of getting a bad grade, that academic validation. And I didn't necessarily have trust in my other teammates to get their part done or their portion of whatever project or assignment we were working on. And in this team, there was so much trust, there was so much accountability and responsibility, and everyone wanted to end with a good grade. And so I think having the trust in my team, that was honestly the most rewarding part of group work. And finally, with critical thinking and discussion, the most rewarding part of critical thinking and discussion was when the professor noticed a smart comment, or I really enjoyed the questions that ended in a debate. I enjoyed jumping back and forth between other students, trying to defend my point and hearing other perspectives I may have not considered. So I used to do speech and debate when I was a freshman, and I have not had that type of in-class discussion, especially when we were in COVID and we were doing computers, and I still did a lot of team meetings last year. I haven't had that type of in-class debate or discussion in so long, and so I think it was really rewarding to finally be able to have a conversation like that. So with that is the end. That is the final podcast. I had actually really enjoyed this class, and I hope to see you again soon.